Hello everyone and welcome to another session of Office Hours. My name is Adrian. I'm the CEO and founder of Groundhogg. Today our topic is going to be about using tags for email preferences, providing a better email preferences experience to prevent all sorts of nasty stuff that you don't want. It's Office Hours number 57 and today is September 8th. So this session is being recorded and will be posted to YouTube as well as Groundhogg Academy. So if you're answering or asking any questions, just be aware that those will be internally encapsulated in MP4 format from this day on. If you have any questions at any point during this session, you can feel free to pop into the comments or chat for this live stream on Facebook. If you see me looking away from the camera constantly, it's because I'm looking for questions and looking to see what questions I can answer. So just be aware that if there is something that you need an answer to, this session is all about getting you the answers to your problems so you can move your business forward. So there are no bad questions, there are no silly questions. Everybody in our community comes at a different stage of development and a different stage of experience with digital marketing and Groundhogg. And this session is totally geared to bringing everybody up to a sort of equilibrium. So again, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask, no matter what they are. If they might be related to Groundhogg, they might be related to another platform, they might be related to WordPress, maybe some sort of integration that you're having trouble with. If you just have generic sales questions or list building questions or email best practices, all things that we happen to know a little bit about here at Groundhogg. And we'll be happy to share our experience with you. That is the entire point of Office Hours. So without further ado, we will jump into the topic. For general questions, this is generally split into two sections. We have a topic and then we have a general Q&A period. We're gonna do a topic first and then we're gonna jump into our Q&A. If you have any questions about the topic at any time, put those in the chat. And today's topic, before I jump into that, actually an announcement. We rolled over on 2,000 active installations last night, so that was kind of cool. Pretty exciting about that. We're pushing our way now onto 3,000 active installations. Groundhogg is being adopted and is being used by businesses in 30 countries around the world. And we have like 61 5-star reviews, so that's pretty cool. That's also pretty freaking awesome. If you're interested in how it is that we're actually doing that and creating those 5-star reviews, I've actually created, well, I didn't create, we've had created a ultimate review generator funnel template for you in course format, and that is available on Groundhogg Academy. It is, of course, a free course, and its entire reason for being is to help you generate more 5-star reviews. I see Chris Badgett's in there. Congratulations on 2,000 active installs. Thanks, Chris. Really appreciate it. Couldn't have done it without you. So yeah, back to reviews. Ultimate review generator funnel, how to generate more 5-star reviews for your business. We've been using this exact template in order to generate all of our reviews. So if you want to do the same, go ahead and follow that. All right, now we're going to jump into the topic, today's topic. Using tags as email preferences. The reason you might want to listen and pay attention to this is using tags as preferences will allow customers to opt into new facets of your business. Maybe they end up on your unsubscribe or email preferences page, and then they realize that they actually can opt into other topics. So it actually allows people to discover different ways that they can engage with your company. It also prevents customers from unsubscribing and clicking the unsubscribe button because they can then choose which topics they want to subscribe to. And it makes it easy to target lists within your customer base. So Groundhogg lacks a list feature by design because tags and lists is kind of confusing on some platforms. So you can kind of create lists using tags and then use those tags when you're sending broadcasts out. And I'm going to show you how to do that today. So here's how it works. For this tutorial, you are going to need the advanced preferences extension. So the advanced email preferences extension, let's pull that up on the store really quickly. It's one of our older ones and one of our most popular. Let's go to add-ons. So if you don't have this extension yet, it is included in all of our premium plans, basic through agency. It's also available for purchase separately if you don't have a plan yet. Here we go, advanced email preferences. So you're gonna need this extension. So once you've installed and activated that, we can go to our tag management area, just tags in the menu, in the Groundhogg submenu there. And we're gonna add a few new tags. Now, for you, when you're using tags as email preferences, I suggest that you use or create tags that are similar to topic names. So for example, a topic name might be something like office hours reminders. Another topic name might be deals and promotions. Another topic name might be, let's see. If anyone has any suggestions, feel free to pop those in the chat as well. Deals and promotions, topic. I'm drawing a blank here. I can actually just go to my Groundhogg page though, because I have topics there. Get some inspiration this way. Here we go. Notifications and updates. And let's see, one more. Product releases. So these would all qualify as topics that a customer may or may not want to receive information about. And I will expand on this a little bit. So I am going to go ahead and add those tags in bulk. There we go. So I have those 4 tags now: office hours reminders, deals and promotions, notification updates, and product releases. So let's say I want to just send an email to everybody who's opted into the topic product releases, or actually, sorry, deals and promotions. Let's say Black Friday is coming up and you want to just email everybody who's opted into your list in order to receive deals promotions. So what we want to do then, in order to turn this into a subscribable topic, is there is an option on the tag edit page called show as preference, and it has a few options: never show, show if tagged, and always show. We are going to mark this one as always show, and we're also going to give it a description. We are going to say subscribe to emails that contain offers for new products and deals for other stuff. Obviously, you're going to want to put in a more descriptive description than what I'm doing, but this is just to give you a general idea. Let's go ahead and update this tag. There we go. We see the description there, and there's a new column there, say showing in preferences, and it says always. Now, what this is going to do is, if I go to my site and I go to my preferences center and I go to change my email preferences, and this will also show if they click the unsubscribe link in an email, you have your global preference options down here, which are the same as they were before, which is if they want to choose monthly, weekly, or they just want to unsubscribe altogether. But above that now, they can actually opt in and out of that tag. So let's say I no longer want to receive emails about deals and promotions. So I'm going to either opt into this, or let's say I want to receive emails about deals and promotions. I'm going to opt into that specific tag, and I've just done so through here. Now I will receive emails about deals and promotions. If I no longer want to receive those emails, I will just simply unsubscribe from that topic and click Save Changes. And when I do that, my global preferences down here don't change. So if I'm confirmed, I remain confirmed. If I'm unconfirmed, I remain that. If I'm unsubscribed, I remain unsubscribed. But now it's just this tag. By toggling this, it's actually either added or removed from my contact record. So let's go ahead and we'll resubscribe to deals and promotions. And now you can see that once I've opted into that, the count for the specific tag for deals and promotions is increased by 1 because that tag has now been applied to my contact record. Now, conversely, if I go ahead and I unsubscribe from that topic, or this tag rather, save changes, the count goes to 0 because it's been removed from my contact record. Now what this allows us to do is if people are subscribing in and out of that specific tag, when you go to send an email broadcast, so let's just resubscribe, go back to our tags, we'll go to broadcasts though, and schedule a new one, I can then select anybody who's doing, if I'm sending a promotional email, let's say we got a deal for Black Friday going, and I just want to message everybody that's opted into deals and promotions, then I just select my deals and promotions tag, I click send, and that way I know that my email is only being sent to the people on my list who actually want to receive it. And that way people will not unsubscribe, and if they don't want to receive deals and promotional emails anymore, then they'll just unsubscribe to that specific topic, and then you can still send them an email about the other areas or other topics in your business, like office hours reminders, or notifications, updates about products, product releases, etc. So that is a super useful way to limit the number of unsubscribes that you have from your list by using topics like this in order to specifically target certain segments on your list. Another thing that you can do with the tags is you can allow people to opt out of those tags if they get applied, but they won't be able to opt into them from the email preferences center. I'll show you what I mean. So let's say you have a customers only topic. So let's say protected member. So let's say member updates or member notifications. Paid member notifications. So you only want people who are in your membership program to receive emails if they have this tag applied. That's actually, I put that in the description. I don't want to do that. There we go, paid member notifications. Emails meant for paid members only. I want to add the show as preference as if tagged. Now what this means is that it'll only show, this tag will only show in the preferences center if the customer viewing that preference center has that tag applied. So I'll go ahead and add that new tag. There we go, it's added, it's got the description, and it shows if tag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my contact record, and I'm going to go to my tags, and I'm going to add that tag, paid member notifications update. There we go, I get that tag now. And if I go to my preferences center, I now see that I have the paid member notifications available. Now, what I can now do is opt out of it, but once I do, I go ahead and save changes. If I go back, I'm not able to re-opt in. Okay, so that means I can opt out, but I can't re-opt in because I no longer have that tag, so it won't show. And that way you can protect paid content, and that way they'll have to obviously reach out to you and say, hey, listen, you know, can I re-opt into these emails? You can go and add the tag to the profile. But this way you can prevent people from opting into content that they don't necessarily have access to, but they can opt out of that content if they don't want to receive it anymore. So that is a nice kind of middle ground for allowing people to manage specific topics. And of course, you can always have the ones that are always there, like we do for Groundhogg. So these are the actual tag preferences that we have for Groundhogg: deals and promotions, notifications, updates, office hours, product releases. At any point, if you go to our preferences page by clicking the unsubscribe link in an email, you'll be able to opt out of these specific types of emails. We are pretty stringent on the type of email that we send, and we only send email that we think is relevant to you. For example, our office hours reminders that you probably received this morning at 9:30 went to anybody who has the office hours reminders tag, which is shown here. So if you don't want to receive office hours reminders anymore, you can go ahead and you can opt out of office hours reminders at any time. for something like our webinar promotions and sending deals about Black Friday or any specials that we have going on, like our 3-year for 2 years deal. We send that out to everybody who gets or who's subscribed to deals and promotions. That way, people who are subscribed to deals and promotions will only receive emails about deals and promotions. And if they opt out of that, we'll no longer send those types of emails to you, but we'll keep sending notifications and updates, product releases, and office hours. Notifications updates is reserved for important updates to Groundhogg, product updates, change logs, etc. So that one is pretty safe, and then product releases are just when new products come out. So pretty straightforward. You as a business get to choose what kind of content you want to send to what kind of people. Now what we do is, you're probably asking yourself, well, how do these customers get all of these tags to begin with? Right? I don't want them to have to opt in. I just want to auto-opt them into a bunch of different tags or a bunch of different topics, and then they can choose to unsubscribe for those topics later, which is fair. So the way that you would do that is I would just go ahead and in your funnel, let's say you have a new subscriber funnel. When you have your initial apply tag step, just apply the tags that you want to subscribe that person to. So at the beginning of our customer onboarding funnel, we just apply all of the ones that we want. So office hours, deals and promotions, notifications and updates, just like that. So we use the apply tag step. We apply the tags that we want to add to them. We don't apply the ones that we don't think are relevant considering the funnel that they're in. And that way they can always opt out of those tags at a later date. Also, another interesting thing that you can do with the advanced preferences extension, and I do see a couple of questions, so I'm just going to finish my next thought and then I'm going to go in and I'm going to answer your questions. So if we go to our settings area and we go to compliance, which is where all your compliance stuff is, and it's also where preference settings are managed, we have a couple of options here. You can disable the weekly and monthly preference. Not every business likes having that available, and totally understandable. So with the advanced preferences extension enabled, you can actually disable it. And we also have this neat option to allow customers to opt out of specific funnels that they're in. So let's say they're in a customer onboarding funnel and they've been in your customer onboarding funnel before and they no longer want to receive emails about your customer onboarding. Then if they're in that funnel, they'll be able to go to the preferences area here, and just like the tag that shows only if it's showed or only if it's applied to that contact, you'll actually see the name of the funnel here, and they'll be able to unsubscribe from that funnel, and then it'll stop any events that are going out for them or any scheduled emails, and it'll basically just stop the funnel in the tracks, and they won't be able to continue it. So that is also a really handy feature for people that might get re-added to a funnel and they're kind of tired of seeing the same content over and over and over again, and it just boots them out and it saves them from unsubscribing, so you can no longer communicate to them whatsoever, which is nice. So that is the advanced preferences extension in a nutshell. Super helpful. Again, designed to allow customers to opt into new facets of your business. By if they end up there, they can see that there are other topics that they can subscribe to. It also prevents them from unsubscribing because they can choose the kinds of topics that they want to receive email about. And it makes it easier to target specific lists for specific content within your CRM database when you're going to send a broadcast email. It allows you to say, I want to just send an email to everybody who's opted into this specific topic, and I don't want to bug anybody else if this content is not specifically relevant for them. Super useful stuff. All right, I'm going to do some questions about the topic, and then we're going to go into our general Q&A session. So Fashion Buyers Network is asking, can tags and funnels work together for recruiting new hires, integrate with a jobs plugin, for example? I mean, maybe. I can't say that I've ever done that. I typically like to leave HR out of automation. Automation, especially if you're a small business, automation for HR in a small business is probably a little bit overkill, in my own personal opinion. Your use case may differ. I've always found that whenever we've tried to automate HR in the past, in my agency days, It was a little bit more trouble than it was actually worth. It's just much easier to do some email back and forth with whoever you're trying to hire. Maybe set up a Google form, which is what we have. Use Upwork or Indeed in order to manage your jobs. That stuff is much more geared and much more successful, I think, for managing human resources. If you're using Groundhogg to communicate with potential candidates, you'll run into issues with, well, compliance and spam folders, and it's a little bit more work than it's worth, I think, would be my own personal opinion. I hope that makes sense. If you have some sort of like jobs plugin, now if you're doing like a job board, in which means like you have a job board as a service where people are paying to use your jobs board in order to communicate with other businesses and not necessarily yours, and you're not the one doing the hiring, that's a little bit different. There's a lot of ways that you can implement Groundhogg into that kind of service in order to improve the user experience. For example, all of your standard marketing automation funnels would apply, like customer onboarding, new subscriber, your engagement abandonment. You have or when someone, let's say, replies to a job listing, you say, hey, listen, someone's replied to your job listing. Here are the details. So there's lots of ways that you could use Groundhogg in that context in order to improve your service. But managing your own personal hiring, I don't think it's necessary. Matt says, I have a pre-purchase funnel, but if the prospect purchases the course that I am offering, how can I stop the pre-purchase funnel with a tag? Matt, super easy. In that case, what you do is at the bottom of your funnel, you just add an apply tag benchmark or tag applied benchmark. Let's go drag that to the bottom there. So you have your tag applied benchmark, and then you choose the tag of your course. So whatever your tag or whatever tag your course applies, you'd stick that in that little bubble there, and then that would suck them to the end of the funnel. No more emails, no muss, no fuss. And the only way that they would be able to go back into this funnel is if they restarted from the top by resubmitting the form or getting another tag applied, something like that. Hopefully that answers your question, Matt. Super easy. Whenever you want to end a funnel, you can just put a tag at the bottom or a tag removed at the bottom, and that'll just bring them right to the end, and then they're virtually done, complete. Fashion Buyers Network wants to rephrase their initial question. So let me rephrase. The onboarding process, send a job application, register on site, create a group. So what kind of, I'm having a little bit of trouble understanding. Oh, did my video go dead? What's going on here? Facebook is saying we're having trouble playing this video. Is that happening on? Weird, okay. That's odd. It looks like Facebook is still streaming my video, but my admin panel has gone dark. So I'm just gonna continue on and assume that it's working, and hopefully it's working. Jesse says we can see. Okay, that's good, because I can't. Good. Okay, so Fashion Buyers Network, rephrase the question. The onboarding process, send a job application, register on site, create a group. So I'm just having trouble understanding the context of this. Are you the one who's trying to automate your own internal HR process for your own business? Or do you have a company or a service that provides that service for other businesses? That's just kind of what I'm having trouble, because 9 times out of 10, it's not worth automating your own internal HR processes, because you post on, because you get maybe like 1,000 applicants and you kind of just got to go through them and etc. So, okay, there is a little bit more context. Posted on Indeed and received over 130,000 applicants. So trying to see if I control the 130,000 applicants. That's a lot of applicants. If you're getting 130,000 applicants, my only suggestion would be that you have to control the criteria of the person that you're trying to hire a little bit better. Because whenever I post on Indeed, I get like maybe 25 at most. So, and that's good, because you don't want to be swarmed by 130,000 applicants. Maybe next office hours, what we'll do is we'll do a little bit of an HR practice. And I mean, I'm not the most experienced person at HR, but I do know someone who's quite experienced at HR and how to word a job description and in order to find and qualify the right candidates. If you're receiving 130,000 applicants, I think there might be something that we can tweak in your job description that would better qualify the type of people that actually apply in the first place. Because I imagine that you're trying to reach a specific kind of person. And if your job application doesn't make it clear what that kind of person is, that's when you get kind of like everybody applying to your job. When I post a job description, I get at most 30 resumes to go through. And from that, I pick maybe like 15 to 20% to actually contact. And from that, we end up getting someone to actually help us. So that might be something you need to consider. Because going through 130,000 applicants as a small business might be possible for you, but I mean, that's something that I would not take the time to go through. That's just too much. That would be my recommendation. It's just too much. It's too much. Jesse says, refine the criteria and description. Yes, absolutely. That would be my recommendation as well. So I thought, okay, so you're saying, I thought I will send all a set of questions to filter, then if they're still interested or apply, create an onboarding process. So my recommendation in that case would be to, I guess you can download the list of emails, you can upload them to Groundhogg, you can send them a questionnaire on like Google Sheets or something, and then from that go through the process. But, you know, what kind of person are you trying to hire here? Because if you're trying to find like someone to help you with, I mean, if you're just looking for a low-level support rep, that's one thing. But if you're looking for like a digital marketer, or you're looking for a developer, or you're looking for someone who's a little bit higher on the skills totem pole, then you shouldn't be receiving 130,000 applicants, because there aren't 130,000 people out there with those skills looking for jobs. Like that's just too many people. There's just not that many people looking for jobs with those higher qualified skills. So my recommendation would be, if you're looking for that kind of person, you received too many applicants. Matt Fraser says, can you use a tag to restrict content after a certain amount of time? Kind of, I suppose. So Matt, I'll repeat the question again for anybody who's not following. Can you use a tag to restrict content after a certain amount of time? I suppose you could. So what you would do is, after someone opts into your funnel, let's say you want to say you have access to this download for the next 7 days. Okay, let's go ahead and create a new funnel for that. Add new. And we'll just start from scratch to make it easy. All right, so let's say someone opts into your site, they register for something, right? You're gonna send them their welcome email. Where is our welcome email here? There we go. We're gonna send them a welcome email. In our welcome email, we are going to say, hey, listen, over the net, you're gonna have access to this content, link in the email to this page for the next 7 days. And after 7 days, you're no longer gonna have access to this content. The way that works, they go through their funnel, they get their welcome email, you set a timer up for 7 days. There we go. And then we're going to apply a tag, and we're basically going to say restricted. Or I guess in this case, so if you're using the content restriction, it's actually the reverse. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a tag first, and we're going to call this tag has access. So there we go. Save that. So new user registers, we're going to give them access to this thing. We're going to send an email. It's like, here's where you go to get your content. You're going to have access for 7 days. We're going to have a delay timer that waits 7 days. And then what we're going to do is we are going to remove the tag that gives them access. Boom. So we remove the tag has access. Now they will no longer have access. Super simple. That is a way that you could kind of do time delays with restrictions. So you can give them restriction for a certain period of time and revoke access or grant access, something like that. Hopefully, Matt, that answers your question. This is a super simple way in order to do time access for things. We actually use this methodology for our 14-day demo. We just have it set up in a funnel. We have a timer that says, hey, listen, after 14 days, your demo's no bueno, and we revoke access to the demo. Super simple. And then when they buy, they get access reinstated. And Matt's saying, yes, thank you. That solves your question. You're welcome, Matthew. Okay. I think that makes sense. All right. What I can actually do, Matt, is here. Let's do this. Timed access funnel. There we go. Matt, if you would like to download a copy of this funnel just for reference later on, here is a link where you'll be able to go ahead and download that. So I just posted a link in there for you, Matt. You can go ahead and you can download it. Okay, so we are in our Q&A period. So that means all questions are fair game. If you have questions about best practices, about membership practices, about Groundhogg extensions, integrations, you want a suggestion for a new product. If you have questions about pricing, we happen to have learned a lot about that over the last little while, about landing pages. We can answer a whole lot of questions. If you just want to stick your website in the chat there and you want us to kind of go over it and see all the ways that we know it could be improved, then I'm also totally game for that, because we have about, up to 20 minutes left of this office hour session. And if not, then I guess we'll just wrap up. This is really when I wish that OBS supported music, because then we could just play Jeopardy while we wait for questions to come in.
It does.
Oh, does it?
It does.
Cool. Someone says it does. So Matt Fraser asks, for the booking calendar funnel, do I need to create a funnel for it to work? What I mean by that is, are emails automatically sent out based on whether or not people book an appointment, miss an appointment? Yes, so the calendars don't require funnels to work. There's actually appointment emails directly within the calendar settings. So the email system for calendars is actually disjointed from funnels. So funnels are not required for appointment reminders or anything like that. You can actually configure all of the reminders for an appointment within the calendar settings itself, Matthew. So you don't even need a funnel, but you can use a funnel if it's part of a overarching sales funnel process. For example, if you have it part of a sales pipeline, or if you have it part of a lead magnet download funnel, you want to use the appointment benchmark in order to track progress. But if it's just like a generic 15-minute book time with me, you are in no obligation to create a funnel for that. Hopefully that answers your question. John Matthews says, just started with Groundhogg and Mailhawk, getting an error message that another plugin is overriding the mail function. I assume it's BuddyBoss, but can't find anywhere to change. So if that's happening, that means you might have another plugin that, well, by the error message you've stated, is overriding the WP mail function. It's not BuddyBoss, because they don't have a system for that. So usually it's something like WP Mail SMTP, or maybe you installed the AWS or the SendGrid integration for Groundhogg, in which case either of those would conflict with Mailhawk. If you installed the SMTP integration for Groundhogg, that would also conflict with Mailhawk. So what I would recommend is, you're welcome to message our support team, and we can quickly log in and just kind of like figure it out really, really quickly for you based on the plugins that you have active. We are pretty familiar with all of the email supported plugins in the WordPress industry, so we can probably just figure that out really quickly. But I know it's not BuddyBoss. BuddyBoss actually works well with Mailhawk and with Groundhogg and all of our other WordPress extensions. So just as an FYI. Jesse Brown asks, can you use a funnel to have a client pay for an appointment before the appointment is made? Absolutely. Just gate the calendar with whatever payment system you want to use. So if you're using Really Simple Payments, for example, which is our payments plugin. So let's go to e-commerce here. So we have our own payments extension if you're not interested in setting up WooCommerce or any of the other kind of like big ones. We have our own little Really Simple Payments extension just to set up order forms really quickly. What you could do is you could set up an order form that requests, say, listen, book an appointment with me for $99. Then you would set the thank you page of the order form to set up to be your calendar, and then they could go to the calendar and then set up their appointment. So that's a really easy way that you could kind of gate access to the calendar with the payment process. You could also do a little bit more complicated, where you could restrict the page that the calendar is actually available on with a tag, and that's say only customers with this tag can access this page where the calendar is, and they get the tag access for a certain period of time, and then after they book the appointment, then the tag is removed, and that means they have to pay again. There's lots of interesting convoluted ways that you could set it up, but the easiest would be to just set up an order form, send the order form, they pay, they get taken to the calendar, they book an appointment. That would be the easiest way to do that. Hopefully, Jesse, that answers your question. Jesse asks, is there a way to check for an available appointment before paying? No, I don't think so. It's been requested that we introduce some sort of payment gateway before the appointment is actually booked. And hopefully that's something we'll be able to add in the future. We're kind of focused on other things at the moment, so I'm gonna have to say no on that one, Jesse. Matt Fraser asks, could you use Gravity forms as an order form and then send them to the booking calendar? There is absolutely nothing stopping you from doing that, Matt. That is totally possible. Yes. Absolutely. All right, we are in our Q&A period. All questions are fair game. Please jump into the chat with your questions. If you're experiencing any sort of roadblock to continuing to launch your funnel, grow your list, or scale your business, that is what we aim to help you solve. So anything to do with launching your first funnel or launching a funnel, any funnel that you might have, growing your list if you're looking for ways to get more leads and you're looking for ways to engage with those leads, we happen to know a few things about that as well. And scaling your business when it comes to optimizing and looking at analytics and gaining insight into the things that you can seriously improve, those are the things we can help with as well. So if you need help with launching your funnel, growing your list, and scale your business, do not hesitate to jump into the comments and ask your questions. Sometimes I feel like a radio host who's always saying, one of the call-in radio hosts on AM radio, like, call in with your opinions. I always feel like I'm doing that on office hours. Let us know your thoughts at 416-444-3396, which is our phone number, by the way. Okay, I'm not seeing any activity in the chat, so either people are afraid to ask the questions or we're just doing really good at knocking them out of the park. So what we're going to do then is that we're going to go do a 60-second last call for questions, and in the absence of questions, we're going to start wrapping up. And Matt is continuing to get in there right before the buzzer. Matt's asking, I'm assuming you could build a really simple membership site with Groundhogg and its corresponding extensions. If I have an 8-module course, I can take payments with Gravity forms. Is it just a matter of applying the right tags? You, in theory, could absolutely do that, Matt, especially if you're just getting started. I'm always been a fan of something called continuous iteration, which is essentially a development process. So you launch with a minimum viable product, and for the least amount of effort that is humanly possible and the least amount of investment that is humanly possible, and just getting something out there as quickly as possible, even if it's like super janky and doesn't even work that well, but it gets the job done that it's supposed to do. I've always been a fan of that. So if you're just launching like a simple membership site, You need to restrict like maybe 1 page or 8 pages, maybe 10 pages at most. You can do super user registration with Groundhogg. You can do content restriction with Groundhogg. You can do payments with Groundhogg. That would be totally doable. And then over time, you'll eventually grow out of it. As your membership grows, if you plan on continuing to add content and add value to that membership, you will inevitably grow out of it. That's just the matter of fact. I'm okay with that. You should be okay with that as well. It's rarely often that you get it right the first time. It happens, and that's just the iteration improvement. I mean, currently we've probably dunked thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of hours into the current version of Groundhogg. And it's all going out the window for 3, and that's just kind of, the way that it is, and we're investing a lot of money in that as well. So as we grow, things just, evolve, and some things just aren't as good as they used to be. But if you're just starting out and you're on a budget and of both time and money using Groundhogg to develop your first version of a simple membership site, it's a fantastic idea. Matt says, the only thing I'm trying to figure out is how to apply roles to users with Groundhogg. So Groundhogg, you can change the role by using the new user step. If they already have an existing account, it'll change the role for them, I believe. Don't quote me on that. So you could do that. You could also create custom roles using the user roles permissions editor plugin. Here. So user role editor is a free WordPress plugin. It will allow you to create custom roles and apply specific permissions to those roles. And then those roles would show in the new user step, the new user action, the create new user action. So it'd be able to create users with those custom roles. So maybe that is something you might want to look into as well, Matt. Okay. Matt says, what about using the free version of MemberPress? I've never used the free version of MemberPress. If that's what you want to do, you go right ahead. I don't foresee any conflict. So if that's how you want to do it, then that's awesome. Yeah. I can't really provide any input on that because I've never used it. But if it's free, then there you go. All right. Jesse says, I use MemberPress and it works great. So there you go. Or maybe you're talking about user role editor. Either way, user role editor is great. So if you're using that for custom user roles within your WordPress website, then that's the way to do it. All right. I am officially going to start wrapping it up. I want to thank everybody for joining me today and taking the 45 minutes out of your day to spend with me. I am uberly grateful. If you need additional help, we have plenty of resources for you to get that help. We have Groundhogg Academy. We have 5 or something free courses now there for you to learn how to create some pretty awesome funnels that'll really help your business out in terms of launching your funnel and scaling your business. Great stuff there. If you need help on a little bit of a higher level than courses and self-serve and office hours, then we do have a wonderful network of certified partners that are available on call to help you. So you can go to our certified partner directory. We also have a new RFP process where we communicate with our partners directly. You can message our page about logging into that RFP process and getting your project out there. We also have an affiliate program. So if you know a colleague or maybe another business owner that might be able to benefit from Groundhogg, then what you should do is you should go to our affiliate area and register for your own affiliate account. You can also go to groundhogg.io/partner to learn more about that process. It's 10% commission recurring for every payment that they pay or for every renewal. So super awesome stuff there. So affiliate area/registration. If you are not following us on all the social channels, please do. We post lots of cool stuff on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So it's Groundhogg WP for Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and then YouTube is one of those really weird / URLs because I can't figure out how to change it. So groundhogg.gg/YouTube to get there and subscribe. If you have yet to leave a review, then I would be uberly grateful if you would do so. go to our WordPress.org repository page, which is wordpress.org/plugins/groundhog. Reviews allow us to get more users, more members, which means more money, which means more developers, which means more stuff that you want and love faster. So reviews really do help. We have 61 5-star reviews right now, which is awesome. I hate when it's not an even number, so if you could help us get it up to 70, that would be stellar. If you have additional questions beyond what we were able to answer this call, or if I wasn't able to adequately answer your question, I apologize in advance. However, there are ways for you to continue to find answers in the time between this and the next office hours. You continue to comment on this live stream. We'll be continuing to monitor it. You can also post to the Facebook group. That's what the Facebook group is for. You can message our live chat, submit a support ticket, add us on Twitter. Lots of ways to get in touch with us. We make ourselves pretty accessible if you haven't noticed. So I want to thank you, everyone, for spending the time with me and taking the hour or 45 minutes out of your day. Really appreciate it. Next office hours will, of course, be next Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's the evening call. I look forward to seeing everybody on that call as well. So thank you, and we will see everybody next week. I hope you were able to learn something today.